always, muchas gracias to everyone for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, as the love and support everyone shares and extends my way. From the heart, I thank every single one of you. Also, do please like, share, subscribe, and hype the video if the message is to your like. Gracias. Well, everyone, today I'm still waiting on that, but I wanted to stop in and share with you and expand a little bit more on the message, that at the end of the day, no matter what you do, it really brings no points to you as a sureño, right? Camarada, whatever you want to say it. Because there is those moments that happen where you just, the means to get to someone or an objective done, right? At not one point, not one time being considered the struggles you're going to have to go through, or even you're going to be losing your career behind this. But allow me to make sense. I was freshly had arrived at Tehachapishu. Well, not freshly, right? A lot of things had already occurred, but Toto was still there, and at the moment I was supporting Toto and Creeper with uh with Tehachapi, right? Mainly 7 block, but more Tehachapi in the 180. Anyways, we used to have them have 30 days or 90-day committees that you would have to go out, and it was actually a firme time, right? It was mandatory for us because basically you go out to the dog cages, and sometimes they bring out the people from other blocks, from 5, 6, 8 block, and you're able to know who's there and basically build rapport, because sometimes they did a lot, right? They brought out another carnal, and they were just being laid over to hit a different destination, but they would be there in 5 block, and there wasn't many camaradas that be able to reach out to him, right? Or to reach back. Anyways, Tatsubisu was a little complicated, right? If it weren't for Verdes, we weren't able to know a lot of things in Tehachapi, just the way it's built, right? But anyways, getting back to my story, I was already supporting Toro. At the moment, I thought I was firmes with Toro, right? Every day we had Torica, we shared pictures, we shared angles. It was a moneymaker when it came to Hale. Uh, I could hold that conversation for. I grew up in that. His family was from Zacatecas or is, excuse me, and they're still doing their thing, right? Nevertheless, the point is we had Torica to speak, right? He trusted in me. Well, a lot of things, right? Sometimes we would talk and he would tell me like this, and that, and this, dude, and I'm sick of it. And so, my reaction as a camarada is, well, let me know what needs to get done and how I could get it done for you. And he would straight tell me, no, Chino, I'm just venting with you, right? I'll take care of it, which he would. But anyways, in one of them times, right, I was to go out to committee, and I already knew I just came back, right? They had just moved me from 8 block to 7 block again. They didn't even wait for me to hit committees, but I knew I was going to get another shoot term because all day There was a lot of 1030s dropped. Fierros were found in the sockets, and lies. It was all lies because again, I had just arrived there, right? And the fierro I had, to be honest, it didn't even get found. But anyways, it was all a setup, right? Again, I went out and we did that, and next thing you know, I locked the whole yard down. They go around once and they do, 180s. They do a general search, everything. They already had hit my pad. And that night, at 1, 2 in the morning, squad came. They ain't even gave us a warning. The door just opened. They threw the hand grenades, and next thing you know, supposedly they're finding fierros in the light sockets, and you know, I literally had just moved to that cell 2 days earlier because I was doing my reception time, right? But anyways, the main thing was that kites had been dropped that I had gotten out to shoot with the order to take off on every CO on that yard, right? And the Patos program in there were dropping kites stating they didn't want that type of funk with the COs there, playing the part. Nevertheless, I had just came back, so I went to A block. From A block, they didn't even wait for me to hit committee, right? They shot me back to 7 block right away, and then I was going out to committee this time, and I knew who Huero Smooth was by name. I know him by look, by person, none of that, right? And we're not next to each other in the cages, so he's kind of away. And as we're there waiting, he's the one that asked me, "Hey, are you a camarada?" I tell him, "Simón, mucho gusto, Chino de Santa Rosa." And then he tells me like, "Hey, mucho gusto, Güero Smooth, the pacas." And he sticks out his hand and, he does the pointing. So by then, just by the name, I knew who he was right away, right? So I tell him, "Okay, me da muchísimo gusto, es todo un placer." Cuando llegó, I start asking, because we weren't aware that he was there. And he tells me he was just laying over down to court. He was in 5 block. And I said, "Okay, Firmes." So anyways, the Judas knew who he was, right? And the Judas, you could say, helping out with certain things, happened to be running committee that day. And I guess, he asked me, "Hey, Alvarez, you want to be moved close to the guy?" And I said, "Yeah, could you please?" So anyways, we started having toricas, and you guys know in this process is fast, right? Committee. You go in and most of everything is, you can't deny nothing, you can't agree with nothing. So basically you just allow them to read through it and bounce. So in this time we're talking, there's a camarada back there, right? Little guy, shorty from Pacas, light complected, right? He was there before I even got there. And he's telling me, "Hey, shorty back there from Pacas." Believe he was from Flats or Projects. Uh, he was from Pacas. We'll just leave it at that, right? I told him, "Yeah, the homie's right there. He's in A section, the second cell." Well, anyways, I don't need to tell you how the platicas go, right? And he tells me, "Hey, camarada, you know who I am, right?" And I told him, "Yeah, I know who you are. You know my standings. You know where, yeah, I got a favor to ask you, and this needs to be done quick before the camarada moves or whatever. I need you to somehow get in his cell and I need you to whack him." So, me having that in the head at the moment is like, I know it's wrong, but at the same time, I can't say no. I'm a chinchi, right? I ain't nobody. So I tell him, Simon, when I go back, I will go ahead and take proper steps to get that done for you. And as I know my carnal Toro's here, I'll take care of that. Don't even trip. Just please do that as soon as possible. And again, I know his ethics. I have not heard nothing negative of him. Everything good, right? And I ain't tell him though. It's what I always tell everyone. Don't trust nobody. Don't matter. I didn't disclose everything. Like for example, that me and Toro were band neighbors, right? That we talked every day. We were in the same section. None of that, right? Just said we were in the same block. So, anyways, we went back and Spooky was still my celly at that time, and I didn't want to go against the green. For one, if I went through Toro first and not tried to act, I had no smooth reaction. But in the second, I knew Toro's reaction, that I would not trust him enough to tell him, knowing it's his house, knowing I'm the one holding his house, right? So to make a long story short, I ended up addressing Toro about this, right? Toro had Luna or the Huda pulled us out, and we had a better conversation. And I told him, look, your canal smooth from pacas. He's here in 5 block. He's waiting to go out to court. This and he requested he requested this, and that of the homie from pacas. And I can't say no to him. He goes, yeah, I know, Chino, but look, he already shot me a couple of appeals since I've been here about the homie. There's nothing wrong with the homie. It was a primo or a family member of his on the street that let some fatty or some jale right at Smooth. Smooth just wanted to press, he wanted to basically flex up, prove a point by hitting the homie. Even though there's nothing wrong with him and he wasn't involved in it, period, point blank. He just happened to be a family member. But that's not how the program works. And Toro reminded me that day because, you could have a carnal, blood brother. You could come into the system for the same case. The minute they split you up or give you a CC number, whatever your carnal does don't reflect on you. The same goes with family, right? It should never ricochet towards you. And I told him, yeah, senora, I don't know Smooth. And, if I'm trustworthy to you and I know there's something there holding it, do let me know. I'm down to boogie. I'm down to sell up with homeboy and boogie, get it done. And it goes, I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong there. Just leave it alone. I'll take care of it. And there won't even be a mention of it no more. Which I will later find out. Basically, Toro answered one of them on appeals. Like he and all, me and Smooth had that conversation, right? And it was to clear me up, straight up. And it was just to tell Smooth that homeboy had hit the 180, the main line, on 8 yard, which it was not Toto's grounds. So he had to reach out through that avenue. Again, I knew there were lies, but at the same time, I knew he was chilling me, and maybe I'm putting too much salsa on him chilling me. He was, he just didn't want it done in his house, right? But the point of this is, you see, Smooth knew or had just met me, had not known I'd done things for Tercos, Raul's kid. I was holding things for Toro. In them seconds, all he cared about was to prove a point on the streets by having a good camarada hit another good camarada for no reason. And then for a Pili to advise you to keep it from the Pili that you're in his house, he's basically taking everything from you one way or another because you don't do it. And if Toro wouldn't have gone that route and he found out or whatever, Smooth could have been that individual to press that issue and just politic. And this time it was shoot time, so they still needed some type of an excuse, right? Of course, not now, but back then but they would wash you up, period. Different routes, but same ending, right? But that's the main point. For one, I want to point two things. Like I stated throughout my whole time, God was always there, even though I was an idiot. This is one of them where Toto didn't have to do that go around. He could have just, what are you doing, fooling my house, moving my people, directing orders? He could have started a big old thing, right? Amongst them, and who was going to be the one in the middle that had cost it when I was told to take action and not even bring it to Toto. But I knew better. To be honest, I thought I was doomed either way. I be straight with you. I had seen it play out like this a couple times, and I thought I was through, either with Toro or Smooth, but I was through because I was not going to be able to follow a directive of one of them two. But Toro, that Clecha, and never heard nothing from it again. But imagine if I would have kept it from Toro, I would have gotten that cell move from that Huda, went up in there, and, you know, sorry I sound like an idiot, but dispuesto, I would have boogied ASAP in that cell, took care of what I was asked to. You don't think Toto would have had my ass? Excuse me. I was the one holding his responsibilities there for him, and I still didn't trust him enough to tell him. I didn't even check with him and the homie was good, if this was a good call. I just went over him like that. And if I didn't do it, was Smooth gonna wait, and I was gonna hit a place where he was strong at, and I was gonna get wet. That's the end look in this. That's the program inside. You see, we're literally pawns to play chess. We're meant to be sacrificed for them to get to their objective. You know, again, I'm not on here to spread poison. If you're there, handle your business to the fullest. Don't ever wiggle out. Don't ever go backwards. Push, push. Handle it. Get out the way you went in. Because that is the mission, right? But at the same time, if you have that opportunity to enjoy freedom, life, man, sometimes when I tell these stories, I think I sound like an idiot to everyone. I don't know what it's enjoying kids. I don't know what it's enjoying movies. I don't know what it's enjoying a normal friendship. Honestly, I'm little by little learning with everyone here. But it's with me, it's always been black or white. I like you, I don't like you. I like you, we're cool, we can chill. I don't like you, I don't want you near me. You give me opportunity, I want to hurt you and get you away from me. Those are idiot thoughts. So be smart, stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones, everyone.